I think I need to be wearing a gosh dang Planet Fitness shirt. We're doing 2 Planet Fitness days back to back. And honestly, I mean, these are probably the 2 days which I would like to go to Planet Fitness the most for. So yesterday was back. You know, they've got normal pull downs, cable rows, machine rows, just general cable stacks. I can get a pretty solid, sophisticated, perfectly executed back workout with those pieces of equipment at my disposal. Honestly, I mean, if I just had a pull-up bar and, well, I guess that wouldn't be ideal. But if all I had was a pull-up bar and, like, I don't know, maybe something heavy, weights or, I don't know, whatever, you could come up with a home gym cinder block looking dumbbell and do some heavy dumbbell rows. I think you could build a pretty good back. You don't need too much for back. Like, as long as you can, do some shit where you pull like this or pull like this with load, I think you're doing something right. So no matter how many different kinds of pull downs or pullovers and rows that I do, at the end of the day, all of those movements are still just, here to here or here to here, with some variation in angle and also, weight and style of set, but you get what I'm saying. If you can break down a muscle group into the core components of what you have to do to stimulate that muscle, then it's going to make it much easier for you to kind of come up with, I don't want to say new workouts, but sort of understand what exercises make sense at certain times and, which ones you kind of want to flow through while you're lifting. So when it comes to triceps, I was about to say chest. When it comes to triceps and bis, I mean, pretty basic activation in terms of what the muscle's contraction does, right? When you fucking flex your biceps, you bend your arm. When you flex your triceps, you straighten your arm. So no matter what kind of movements you do, as long as you fulfill that little requirement, you're probably doing something right. Couple that with a good amount of weight plus a burn, and then you finish your however many sets with a good pump, I think you're in the green zone. I think you're in the green for growth zone. So, triceps probably going to be just the same shit as normal, yeah. Push downs, single arm, double arm, maybe a little bit of a rope just for a squeeze. I really like sometimes doing some underhanded D-handle extensions, kind of rope style. I'll probably, if I do them, I'll explain them when I do them. And then overhead dumbbell just to really stretch the long head. And after, however many sets of that, probably 6-ish, I'll be able to call it and say triceps have been pumped into oblivion. And then just move on to bis. And bis are much simpler, whether or not I want to do dumbbells or cables or easy bar or machine curls, like I was just saying a second ago, here to here, right? I'll do different curls too, just because a dumbbell curl is going to feel different than like a machine curl, or maybe I'll be able to do the reps a little bit slower and controlled on a cable and get a much better squeeze. But, for the most part, still, it's just bending at my arm, trying to get a good burn on my bicep. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say there. Now, if you've watched any of these arm days, or I guess there's a couple back and bicep workouts way back when, but I'm sure you'll notice, or if you don't, then maybe hearing this you'll think about it. You never see me doing reverse curls in my bicep workouts, right? And you're never going to really catch me doing hammer curls either, because as far as I'm concerned, when I'm hitting biceps, I want to just hit biceps. So for me to do hammer curls or reverse grip curls like this, it's just getting so much forearm in the equation. Like this big chunk of meat right here, and everybody loves saying it in the comments, the brachioradialis, or whatever. it can be overdeveloped. So, and honestly, my forearms are not too small already. I really want my biceps and my triceps to catch up, and I don't want to say overpower, but I do want much bigger arms. So I don't want to waste energy and also just, make my arms a little bit more disproportionate by slamming this part of my forearm. Because even though it is a part of my forearm, it's still taking over a lot of a lot of my curling force, a lot of my curling strength, just because, these muscles are pretty much individual to the forearm. They don't really come into play with like a curl. But this one right here obviously attaches down here at your forearm and gets all the way up here into your upper arm. So that's why when you do a reverse curl like that, you can actually work that back part of your forearm. But I guess main point I'm trying to say, when I'm hitting buys, I just want to hit buys. So if I wanted to do some direct forearm work like that, maybe at the end of the workout I would, but that's just kind of something which you're going to have to look at your own build and think, all right, what's ahead of the game? Forearms, biceps, tries, whatever. Try to get everything in proportion. Now, of course, you also have to couple that with, all right, I want to get everything as big and freaky as possible. So there is a middle ground, which, I mean, it's just kind of up to you to find. So I think that's all I got to say there. It's 7:30 now. Uh, Arms does not take me that long. I'll say the time that I start the first working set, because of course I got to get in there, put my stuff away, do a couple warm-ups for tries before I actually get into the first set of whatever. But I don't think, well, I know triceps isn't going to take more than maybe 20 or something minutes, and same thing for buys. So I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to be out of here before you can say, let's go check the pump. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but you get what I'm getting at. So let's just get on there. This kind of goes against my, maybe not my better judgment, but kind of a little bit of a rule that I think about for myself with triceps. For the most part, I want to start my lift off with a movement that I'm strong on. My triceps are fresh. They can move around a lot of weight. It just kind of makes sense. If I want to do a hard set, I want it to be hard weight-wise. And usually, triceps are, well, not even usually, they're definitely much stronger in a normal pressing motion like this with your hands turned over rather than having them upside down. But something about doing this sort of rope slash D-handle underhand press down, something about it, dude, I just love. Because I can still load the whole stack, but I can actually get a crazy squeeze too. So I'll just sit here for, I'll say a 1, but honestly, I'll probably be here for like 3 at least. But it just kind of depends on the feeling. Oh. Whoops. Yeah, a few more like that. Oh yeah. Yeah, one more. One more and then we can move on to, whatever else. No. No. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think now would be a good time for some cross-body single arm cable extensions. Whatever, there would be perfect. So that was the whole stack for those last few reps, plus a little bit of change weight on top. Now I only want to do the 25s on each arm because I just want to really get a nuts level squeeze when I get to the straightened position. So with this kind of set, I'm not so concerned with the actual weight being moved. I'm more concerned about the subjective feeling of the set. I know that kind of sounds like it goes against my character, but I don't know if I'm necessarily going to have the best pumps if every set I just try to do as gnarly and as much weight as possible. I like an even mix, you know, heavy sets, of course, 10 rep-ish to failure, stuff like that, 10, 15, but then also lighter squeezing sets like this and really just try to burn out. Okay. One more. Okay, fine. All right. Let's have some straight bar. Straight bar pushdowns weren't really doing it for me. I did one feeler rep, and I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact reasoning why, but I just didn't really feel like it was going to be an awesome set. So if I didn't think that a normal pushdown would feel very good, I guess it was my first instinct to do a movement that's, I mean, it's still triceps, but dips, I'd say, are pretty drastically different in terms of their, let's just call it execution. So I did one feeler rep with, you know, whatever weight, and this feels a lot better. So I'll sit here for maybe one or two, or maybe just one, and that'll be the end of it. You know, we'll have to see. All right. Fuck. That was good, but I don't want to do another one. Let's do a different kind of cable. I'll find an attachment that I think I'll like more. All right, so this will be a little bit of a, actually not a drop set. I guess I'm actually increasing in weight, but portion A will be pre-exhaust with single arm D handles. So, you know, kind of 5 reps like this, flip around, 5 the other way. I might do that, you know, 3 or 4 times until I feel like I'm decently fatigued. And then I'll jump over to the other cable and just burn out in pushdowns. I've been doing this as a finisher for the last few arm days, and I think I like it enough. Or at least, you know, I clearly like it because I'm doing it for the 3rd time in a row. But nothing else to say about it apart from doing it. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah, triceps are fully cooked. Let's get some curls started. I'm gonna change up my normal approach to buys. Usually I've been starting off with a really crazy heavy set, but I have noticed when I start off with something a little bit lighter, like more so in the 20 rep burnout range, I do end up getting pretty gnarly pumps. You know, that kind of just goes to say what I was talking about earlier. I mean, or actually, I don't even know if I was talking about this earlier, but just in general, I do kind of stand behind this idea. Whether or not you do fucking heavy ass sets of like, honestly, let's say every set I did today was like 6 reps, and it was actually hard. Or if I did every set of like 20 reps, a little bit lighter weight, really focusing on squeezing, I think an even mix is probably best. But no matter what you're doing, as long as the sets are legit hard and you're actually pushing yourself and you know it for sure, and you're not just being delusional and doing like a baby set and saying that that was good, you're gonna make some progress, man. Honestly, in terms of all this muscle growth, whatever, the gym's the simple part. You just go in, you throw a bunch of weight around, you have some fun, get a gnarly pump, and that's the end of it, you know? So, enough of that. Preachers, single arm, I like adding this little D handle just because when I grab the regular handle itself, something about the fact that it's kind of locked in place, it kind of wrenches my wrist. But when I add the D handle, it gives me a little more freedom of motion, feels more comfortable. So I'll sit here for a couple. Right arm first, since my right bicep's a little behind the left one. Okay. Yeah, a few more here. Whew. So if you'll notice, those last few reps on the left arm looked a bit easier than the one on the right. And that's what I'm going for. Since my right one's a little bit behind, I want a really hard set, and then I want to match the reps on the left side. Take the gas slightly off, so this one catches up. I'm just gonna keep busting these out, jeez. I actually lied. I'm not gonna do one more set of those preacher curls with the preacher machine. I'll do a little something. Obviously, I don't think he came up with it, but I take an inspiration from a Lee Priest clip where he's doing kind of cable curls like this. In my mind, you gotta think he knows what he's doing. So I did a feeler rep or two. Felt kind of cool. Definitely on the lighter squeezing set side of the spectrum than like a really heavy set. But the squeeze felt pretty legit. So let's bust one out. Moderate weight, 25 pounds on each side. See what happens. See if it's what it seems to be all cracked up to be. Okay, fuck, a little heavier. Oh, fuck. All right. That feels cool enough to do one more. One more at least. Fuck. Yeah, that's legit badass. Definitely biasing the squeeze. It kind of reminds me of when I do cable flies right in front of the cables like this, because when you're out here in the stretch position, the cables are pulling straight out towards your arms, so it's kind of a break for your chest. And then there's the most amount of tension up here in this contracted position. So with these, I get a little rest at the back because my biceps aren't holding the weight. You know, it's just getting transferred through my bones and my arms or whatever. And then up here, that's where all the tension is, right in the squeeze. But yeah, let's do one more. I like that. I tried it when I was younger and I didn't really love it. Just goes to show some movements, maybe it didn't click one day that you tried it, but a couple months pass and it could be your new favorite. Okay. Oh, fuck. Oh my goodness. All right, that's enough of that. One little tip though, which I just kind of felt out for myself. As you're doing these, you should be able to see what I'm talking about here. Don't try to curl towards the front of your head. If you try to recreate this setup, try to get your hands to touch behind your head, kind of like this. When I switched to trying it like that after the first few reps, I could feel it way better. Actually, yeah, one more here. One more just like that. Okay, fine. Oh my god. Let's do a set of machine curls and then buys are done. These are probably going to get thrown into the routine much more often. I like these. I think that this is going to be the last set, but it's still kind of, to be determined based on how it feels. If I finish this set and I feel like I can get a little bit more juice in these buys, I can pump them up just a little bit more, then I'm going to call it. But if I feel like they're totally good, nice and pumped, well fatigued, just well worked, then I'm ready to either hit the locker room or just fucking stand right here in front of the mirror and throws down. But before I can even think about doing any of that, let me just play a gnarly song, get hyped up, and throw the shit around for as many reps, including partials, as possible. Obviously, complete reps in the beginning when I'm fresh. Oh. Okay. That's enough. All right, they're not going to close down It's only 8:40, but you know, they are closing, so I'm sure there's dudes in the locker room. Look, man, I agree with you, right? If I walked into the locker room and saw dudes legit changing, I'm not gonna go in there and fucking pose down at the camera. That's fucked up. But you know, if it's empty, let's be real. Who cares? Right? You got to use your best discretion with these type of things. But don't have to worry about that now because I'm just gonna pose down out here. Boy, this was a very good day of biceps. Like, tries were good as normal. Honestly, I have not been having any trouble getting a good tricep pump. But on occasion, bis will be a little bit more finicky. Just a little more touchy to pump up. But today was fucking nuts. I mean, holy shit, look at that. Let's actually run through some poses. Here we go. Oh. Oh yeah, come on. Who doesn't love it? Dude, I love an arm pump with a lat spread too. It just looks so much more fucking... I mean, what's the word I'm even trying to think of? I don't know. Sick? Oh my goodness. All right, what's left? Sweet. Now all I gotta do is get back home. Oh, dude, fuck. I feel like I'm gonna pull my bicep doing a crucifix. Because straightening it all the way out, I mean, it's just got so much tension in it from the pump. Very nice. Love it. LOVE it. So now I just get to go home, probably finish The Sopranos. I think I'm on like the last 3 episodes. It's getting rough. It's getting rough. If you know, you know. R.I.P. Chrissy. Yeesh. But unrelated to the pump. So who really cares? Let's roll, man. Let's get out of here. Successful Planet Fitness day again. That's 2 back to back. I forgot to talk about how long I was actually lifting for. Whoops. I mean, I got there about 7:30. Took maybe a 15-ish minute warm up, including, you know, putting my stuff in the locker and, you know, sitting there getting ready. And then a little bit of a pose down. So now it's 8:47. It's about an hour lift. You know, I don't think, I mean, I've brought this up before, when it comes to volume, you don't really have to be in here forever. You know, I mean, the whole goal of the workout is to get in, do as much work as necessary to stimulate growth, and then, you know, leave. Because you want to kind of, the way I think about it is like this. And I'm not like a hard believer, because I know that if I come in and do 3 crazy sets of biceps, or if I do 10 crazy sets of biceps, honestly, I still think I'll make some progress on either one of those situations. But as a basic kind of like fundamental idea, you know, I think about going to the gym like, what is it like? I guess I can't really, oh, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, crypto style, or stock market. You're in the gym, and basically, in my mind, I imagine you going to the gym, you got chest on the agenda, you bought in at the dip. You bought in at the dip, and as you're working out, and as you're doing hard set after hard set, it's climbing. It's climbing. You got in at Bitcoin at 20,000, now it's at 50. It's climbing, it's climbing, it's climbing. You know, eventually you get that peak of, you know, the effectiveness of the workout, and that's when you want to sell. That's when you want to say, all right, I've done enough, that was a good workout, I don't want to overstimulate my system, overstress it. You know, I did the perfect amount, and then leave before the crash. Now, I don't think it's that sharp, because I've seen dudes who get huge. I mean, we've all heard Mike Mentzer and everybody who he's influenced. There's dudes out there doing 2 sets a week. They're making gains. And then there's dudes doing fucking like 50 sets a week, and they're also making gains. You know, So when it comes to training, I think the range of which stimulus covers, it's very wide. So that's kind of why I don't really love saying like you have to do it this way, or you have to do this amount of volume or this amount of sets. That's kind of a subjective thing, man, based on your build. Like if you do fucking 10 sets a workout really hard and you're making gains, guess what? You're doing it right. you know Apart from the fact that maybe you could have a little bit of a better routine, to an extent, I kind of want to say don't fix it if it's not broken. If you start to hit a plateau and you're really eating enough food and you're resting well, then maybe that's where you got to look at your training and say, okay, something's off. I know I'm eating enough, I know I'm sleeping enough, so I got to change something about the training, right? But as long as you go into the gym and you really go hard, I think you're good training wise. What really is going to stop you from making gains weight wise, muscle wise. I was just talking to a dude in there today. What do I do when my kind of newbie gains start to slow down? You gotta fucking make sure you keep eating, man. Clearly you've been working out in such a way that it's stimulating some muscle growth. Whether it's absolutely perfect or maybe a little bit more in like the mediocre range of effectiveness, you're still growing muscle. Obviously you want to approach that perfect style of training. You get what I'm saying, right? You want to train hard. But if I only ate 2,000 calories from now onward, I'm going to shrink down to fucking like 190. Now, granted, that would be a pretty lean 190 for sure, but I would never be able to break, however much weight my new maintenance weight would be, because I'm just not eating enough food. Let's split me into two realities where I keep training like I am and I only eat that 2,000 calories, but maybe I train twice as hard. That's impossible. Twice as hard now, but I only eat, this much food, my 2,000, 2,500 calories, whatever. Or I train half as hard, but I eat, a fucking 6,000 calories. That dude training half as hard, but he's eating, he's going to get a little bit bigger. Now that is not an excuse, right? I do not want you to take that as though you should not train hard and just try to eat all the time. That is not what I'm saying at all. All I'm trying to emphasize is the fact that the amount of food and calories you get in your system, that's the number one factor which is going to determine any weight-based changes on your frame. Of course, when you combine that with weight training, muscle building, hypertrophy training, then in a bulking context, gaining weight, that means gaining muscle plus some blubber too. You get a little fat on you. That's just the nature of gaining weight and being in a legit surplus. Though you can mitigate some of that fat gain by doing your daily cardio. In my opinion, 30 minutes fasted or unfasted in the morning, a couple hours at least before your actual workout, maybe 5 or 6 at the minimum is probably the best case scenario. But if you're trying to cut down, again, in a muscle bodybuilding context, you're just trying to lose body fat, and you're training, that stimulus on your muscles is going to keep them from atrophying and shrinking down. So do not underestimate the power of food, and do not overestimate your ability to eat. And when I say that, I mean, if you're the type of dude, we all probably have heard this before. I eat so much, man. I kind of feel like a chump even reiterating this, because this sort of phrase and situation gets talked about so much, but it's so true. I eat so much, I just can't gain any weight, dude. I burn it all off. You're literally just not eating enough food. That's it. That is the end of it. Your training, whatever, your sleep. If you're not gaining weight, then that is an indicator of, 99% of the time, maybe if you're, got some kind of crazy sickness and you're like, your body's just ejecting everything you put into it, then that's a totally different situation. But if you're just a normal dude, you're feeling good, whatever, the only reason you're not gaining size is lack of calories, lack of high quality protein combined with fats and carbs. So that's on you, man. That is on you. You got to start scarfing down some more Uncrustables, some more whatever, man. Cereal, treats, protein shakes with 4 Reese's cups blended into it with whole milk. I just downed a half gallon of strawberry milk, and I tell you what, the strawberry milk goes down pretty easy. I think I might make a little bit of a, there might be a little bit of a paradigm shift as I'll transition into a little bit of a strawberry milk phase. But whatever you got to do, you know, I do see a lot of comments. How can he eat that much sugar and not get diabetes? Dude, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to speak for you specifically, but I mean, getting back to sort of a two-state situation, like if I split myself in two alternate realities, if I ate the way that I'm eating now, with zero training, zero cardio, yeah, I'd probably get fucked up from eating all this. I mean, what is conventionally referred to as just trash, right? I'm sure I would just look like a fat lard after, a year of zero training, zero activity, and eating the way that I am. Actually, I'm not even pretty sure. I'm certain that I would be unrecognizable if that were to happen. But, there is legit merit in the idea of burning shit off, right? Training, weight training, I mean, literally just having more muscle on your frame, you're going to have a faster metabolism. And, you couple just being a bigger dude with hard training and cardio on the daily, which you should be doing, then, I mean, fuck, dude. I would be surprised if you took a dude who went to the gym every day, trained hard, and did his cardio. I would be genuinely surprised if he ever got type 2 diabetes. I mean, unless you're eating so much that you're just packing on like a completely unnecessary amount of body fat. If you're in a surplus where even if you were training that hard and doing your daily cardio, if you were legit becoming like obese, overweight, then sure, I could see that happening. But, if you're training and you're maintaining a moderate body fat percentage, like even upwards of 15 to 20, then, dude, I am not so concerned. Honestly, I think that's just a little bit of a cop-out to not get any food down and change the scale. But, of course, all of this shit that I say, don't forget, sometimes I do want to say things specifically to you as like a rule that you should follow. Like when I talk about training intensity and your daily cardio and tracking your macros, like stuff like that, I am talking directly to you and I'm telling you to do it because I know that it's good for you and it's going to result in some more progress for you. But sometimes when I say this shit, I'm really almost like talking to myself in the past, like I'm just sort of revisiting lessons that I've kind of gone through in my own training, which applies to me specifically, and maybe to nobody else. So take everything with a grain of salt if I say anything it's a little crazy. But I mean, I don't say it for no reason, right? I don't say this shit just out of the blue for shock factor. Right? I'm saying it because I've kind of lived it, and this is just how I'm going about it. What better way to kind of learn and understand how shit works than to do it for yourself and see what happens, man? I mean, you're just going to get such a deeper understanding. Like, if you took a dude who actually tried to figure out his macros, tracking it every day, how much calories he needs to, let's say he does this for like years, how many calories he needs to gain weight, how many calories he needs to lose weight, trying different styles of training, figuring out what works best for him, he is going to have such an easier time making progress than some dude who just watches a bunch of, random ass videos telling him how to do it. Hands-on learning experience, trial and error, cause and effect. That is what's going to teach you more than any, fitness guru or anybody that you could watch a video on. Now, that's not to say that there's no merit in those kind of videos, of course. I would never say that. It's there's all sorts of crazy ass baller information out there. But it is your responsibility to use that as a tool and be able to filter out like, okay, this is fucking stupid. This guy's nuts. I have no idea what he's talking about. Or, all right, well, that's kind of starting to make sense. I can kind of understand where he's getting at. I can apply a little bit of logic in my brain and say, I like that. That actually seems like it might work. And then that's sort of like a filter which you can use to say, all right, I'm going to try this. And again, it's kind of your responsibility to not just do it for like 3 days and then say, fuck it. This stuff takes time. There is no, apart from like going from absolutely carb depleted to eating like 500 grams of carbs worth of sherbet, candies, sweets, and Gatorades, and like carbing up overnight like that. Apart from like a random ass situation there, you are never going to look different on a day-to-day basis, at least not by any marginal sense. So if you try something or whatever, maybe you want to try fasting. You want to try some shit for your diet where you wait until 3 o'clock to eat, and then that's your little window before you go to bed. Or, maybe you want to try a new kind of split or a new training style or whatever. Like, it's good to try new shit, even if it might be wrong, just to go through the process and see what happened. Like, that is going to be good for you. But you have to actually be able to do it for a little bit. Right? I've never seen somebody big and impressive and, seen them in the gym, and every time I talk to them, like week to week, they're telling me, oh, I'm trying a new Arnold split. And then the next week, dude, I'm on that Mike Mentzer shit right now. I'm doing 2 sets a week. And then the week after that, he's like, dude, I'm on some Russian high volume 10 by 10 training. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I've never seen anything like that before. It's the dudes who can just come in and be comfortable doing the same kind of shit over and over again, and maybe make adjustments along the way. Those guys are going to be the dudes who are legit packing on lean tissue, serious beef, right? Becoming absolute monoliths of muscle. So we're getting a little ranty with this one, but there's probably some good intel in there for you if you could decipher it. But I gotta go home, finish the Papa John's pizza I ordered. Half pepperoni and banana pepper. Dude, I don't know. I should have got pepperoni on the other side too. I just got pineapple. It's been a while since I've had pineapple on pizza, and without something salty, it's just a little too sweet. But of course, calories are calories. It's still going into the system. So I'll freaking see you next time.